I am joined now by Fil Waters. He is a retired homicide detective who's investigated more than 400 homicides. So, Phil, what do you make of what Rader's daughter said about the numbers, the sheer numbers, the 100, however many zeros he was trying to communicate to her?
Well, great to be back with you, Ashleigh. I will tell you this, I'm just listening to what you've talked about here, and oh my gosh, I don't think I've seen anything this graphic or salacious, even involving the prolific serial killers. This guy has kind of set himself apart, and I certainly give credit to Carrie. She has carried on a crusade for the victims and their families in this thing, and she's trying to get to the truth about all of the victims. And so she confronts her father, and he's doing the sign language scenario thing with her. I think that it is no big leap to presume that if he was guilty of 10, he may be guilty of 100. So I don't think that's a far leap at all.
So I am curious about what's different now. Look, you and I have been around the block. I've been in this business 35 years now, and I looked at pictures very, very differently as a cub reporter than I look at them now. And I'm wondering, as a cop, how would you look at these pictures now as opposed to 2005 when he was arrested and they found the big trove of hundreds of these pictures? What might they see differently? What perspective, what prism are they looking through that's different?
Well, you're looking through the prism of time that has passed by, and that gives you an opportunity, really, with a fresh set of eyes to look at these things. And you will see things. I mean, in my own career, I have looked at pictures, and then I'll go back later and look at those pictures, and I will see something that I didn't see before, because you don't capture everything in one glance. And as detailed as you are, sometimes something leaks out to you that you just didn't see before. So they're going back through the journals, they're going back through the pictures, and now they've got the full scope of whatever depraved, sick events that he was involved in. And they're looking at him, I think, with a broader picture of the possibility of more murders on the horizon that they're going to be able to associate with him.
Phil, you know, he was so meticulous in his documentation of what he did to these poor women. You can see his level of documentation. He recreated, photographed, and he would put these in this journal connected to each and every kill. He was writing a manuscript before they arrested him about his murders. So I'm just sort of curious as to why we wouldn't know more. If there were more, and he was this meticulous about making sure he wrote everything down, why should we believe there is any more?
Well, remember, some of these, in fact, you've already mentioned one, Cynthia Kenny. That was his 1976, I believe, is when that occurred in Pawhuska, Oklahoma, and it involved a laundromat. So we look in his journal, and there's some reference there to PR Bad Laundry Day or something of that nature.
Bad Wash Day. Yeah.
Bad Wash Day. Mm-hmm. And so now we're looking at that. What does that mean? So now we have, I'll call it an admission that we associate with that particular case because she was missing out of a laundromat. So they've got information now that they're able to connect these links and looking at it in a different view. And in terms of his, remember, these are, I think the documentation is that he started this activity in 74. And so we're talking about 76 here. So I would presume that as he gets further into this activity that he just loves, that his documentation gets better over time. So he's starting at the beginning. He's documenting some certain things, but then as he starts to, these killings proliferate, he gets more detailed about each one of them. And now he goes back and these pictures are incredible, I got to tell you. And because he's thinking about these every minute of every day. This is what is on, everything he does is geared around finding the next victim. And when he does that, then he accomplishes the task and does it in a manner in which he does it. And then he documents it, and then he relives it over and over and over again. He is never satiated about the desire, and this is all this depraved sexual component of sadism.
Yeah.
And it is, he's never satiated.
He brings it home. You know, he brings it home to grandma's house and starts reenacting in grandma's basement where his daughter played hide and seek and now has to live with the fact that she slept on a blanket where someone was likely murdered. It's
go to the place you're most secure. Go to the place you're most secure in being without the possibility of getting caught. So
it's unbelievable. What risk? Fil Waters, as usual, great perspective. Clearly, all those investigations has given you a lot more knowledge about this than the rest of us. So thanks for sharing. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.